Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are in Kathopanishad, Dvitiyavalli, second part, and in that we are entering into the 7th verse. We have not read that yet, but today in the 6th verse, in the 5th and the 6th verse, 5th verse talked about Vidya and Avidya. And there avidya was told. And what was avidya? Avidya is basically Shreyas is called as Vidya and Preyas is called as Avidya. And we have to understand that under the purview of Avidya, the entire changing phenomena comes. Now when we look at changing phenomena doesn't mean just the world and the clouds and the rain and the sun, day and night. Yes, all that is changing. Yes, we say sun is the unchanging, the day and night are changing. But now go one step back. Sun is also changing continuously. From the world you come to your body, body is also changing continuously. Breath is changing continuously, thoughts are changing, speech is changing, waker, dreamer, sleeper are changing every day. So everything that is changing. Why they stop there? Our mantra is changing every time. It's not the same pitch, it's not the same meter, it's not the same tone, it's not the same bhava. And why I talk about mantra? We keep changing gods also. Monday Shivji, Tuesday Hanumanji, and it goes on. Continuously changing. And wherever there is change, it is an expression of ignorance. It cannot be anything but that. And foolish people who do not have complete understanding, as Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, incomplete knowledge. Knowledge is self-illumined. Consciousness is knowledge, and that is self-illumined. And that is complete. It is not dependent on any means. So here what is happening? I am depending on the Upanishad. You are depending on me, the teacher. And the teacher may be here, the student may be there. But if the Zoom is not working, gone.
Alert from updates available.
Gone. Life is topsy-turvy. Why? Because Zoom is not working, and only through Zoom we were accessing the satsang. Dependency. Knowledge is not depending on anything or anyone. Knowledge is independent by nature, and that independence is the discovery that a seeker has to make. And that discovery cannot come about by the path of prayas, by the path which is pleasurable, by the path which is taking you outwards to the manyness. See, isn't it your experience that as we go higher from the ground, things start melting into each other? Isn't it? If you go in a plane, the roads, the houses, the differences that were so prominent on the ground level, at the ground level, as we move above, as we go higher, 5,000, 10,000, 15, 20, 30, 40,000 feet in the plane, what do you see down there? Can you see the differences? Can you see the people? Can you see the cars? Can you see the different trees? Can you see the different mountains, rocks? Can you see the moods of the people? Can you see the different speeches of the people? Can you see the different foods? Nothing is available to you. Then what is available to you? One. It's all become one. And that's exactly the foolish people, the ignorant people. They pursue the differences. They don't pursue the unifying principle. And for that unifying principle, you have to be subjective. You have to be contemplating on the Atma or the Paramatma. Even if you think about the Ishvara, it's okay. So we have incomplete knowledge about ourselves. Essentially we are complete and we want to complete ourselves. This is the inner urge of everyone. And we want to complete ourselves. And the only way we know is by interacting, by attaching, by identifying with everything that the world has to present us. This is the preyas marg of the ignorant. But now don't forget, the Shreyas marg, as good as it may be, because it is taking you towards the higher. But this path and the practices and the contemplations, they are all within the purview of ignorance alone. You are seeking that which cannot be sought. Anyway, we'll talk about, here we are talking about ignorance only. And then after that, we came to the 6th verse, and in the 6th verse it was told, what was told? What did the verse say? Na samparaya pratibhati balam prabhadyantam vitta mohena mudham shrayam ayam loko nasti para iti mani punah punarvashamapadyate me. Such people, such ignorant people, they are so besotted. They are so besotted with the what you call with the world, that for them they are not even worried about the future. Those people who have thought fixations, obsessions, phobias, very strong likes and dislikes, they are not at this moment, I hate this. They don't understand that hating and having such strong emotion within themselves, when they get old, what is going to happen to their mind? Such strong negative emotions, what are they doing to your system inside right now? They themselves know when they are loving, when they are helping, when they are compassionate, when they are empathetic, the sense of being is fantastic, they are on the cloud 9. Yet they are so fixated in their ideas that they are not ready to look at the future, which would be the result of the practices that they are having today. Whether it is physical, whether it is mental, whether it is psychological, whether it is intellectual. And for such people, there is no future. Because they keep getting blinded by the, what is given here, vitta mohena mudham. They are besotted by that which does not exist. What is that which does not exist? Objects of the world. They don't exist. What is their nature? Their nature is exactly the nature of objects in the dream. As much as we give zero value to the objects of the dream, we are somehow unable to give the zero value to the objective world that we find ourselves in the waking state, in the waking world. And therefore, for them, the whole blinding by the objects. If we see a Mercedes, we want a Mercedes. If we see a beautiful house, we want to buy that. If we see the crypto, we want to buy that. If we see people going to space and having an experience of weightlessness, I also want that. I want to go to Mars. I want to land the moon. Work, make money, go. After that, what? What's next? And as a result, what happens? These people are subjected to rebirth after rebirth after rebirth. Because rebirth is because of what? Rebirth is because of the karma that we are doing, actions that we are performing. What is the action that you are performing? Are you performing the action of prayas, or are you performing the action of shreyas? Prayas will keep you binded in this cycle of rebirth. Shreyas, there is a possibility to be free from this cyclical life. But the Mudaha, he is blinded by the wealth, by the objects, by sense stimuli. Not only wealth is not just money, wealth is siddhis also. Wealth is all that you are able to see, hear, touch, feel, taste, think, ideate, imagine, intellectualize. All this is your wealth, your convictions, your faith. All this is. But these mudha, these stupid fools, they have faith more in the objects of the world rather than something higher. What is higher? That which is unifying. The mind alone. Remember what it was not told yet, but we have seen it in other scriptures, other texts. The Atma itself becomes the reflected consciousness. Consciousness becomes as if reflects as reflected consciousness. That reflected consciousness then expresses as if as aham idam. Aham is in the intellect, idam is in the mind. That mind then expresses as the five senses. Those five senses, the moment they come into existence with seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, simultaneously, at that very moment, the entire world for the seeing the seen world is created. For hearing, the heard world is created. The sounds are created. For tasting, the food is created. Tastes are created. And so on with every sense. So what is the cause of the world? What we see as the form, it is the senses. What is the cause of the senses? The mind. What is the cause of the mind? Intellect. What is the cause of the intellect? Chidabhas, reflected consciousness. And reflected consciousness in essence is the infinite consciousness or Atmic consciousness. Now this whole picture, even though it is just a narration in words, it must be clear in our mind. When it is not clear, we want to do yoga, we want to do puja, we want to do abhishek, we want to chant Gita, as if by chanting Gita, all your doubts are going to go away. If chanting Gita is not bringing about understanding, nothing is going to happen. You are just a tape recorder, but a live one, that's all. Repeating after repetition after repetition. Same thing with mantra. Same thing with listening also. Same thing with talking also. We are all in the same game. But there is a possibility that if we are listening attentively and we are speaking attentively with awareness, there is a minutest possibility that some transformation comes about, that we go from ground level to some higher level. There is possibility, isn't it? But on the path of prayers, is there a possibility from one house to 10 houses? Is that growth? From one wife to 10 wives, is that growth? From one child to 10 children, is that growth? It's only that your donkey power has increased if you have 10 children. Because you have to slog harder, you have to work harder for the 10 children. If you have a big house, can you sleep peacefully? You will have security cameras everywhere. If you buy a new car, you are afraid someone will scratch it. So when we follow the path of prayers, we keep falling down. When we fall down, we go into narak. We go into narak means we live at sensory level. Those who live at sensory level are called asuras, demons, materialistic people. What they see, they believe. The path of Shreyas is believing is seeing, not seeing is believing. Believe that I am of the nature of Atma. Then there is a possibility of abidance in Atma. No, I have never seen Atma, I have never seen God. I don't believe in Narak, I don't believe in heaven. Live only now. Then keep growing, whether you accept or you don't accept. If I don't care what is going to happen in the future, who knows what is the future? I am going to eat sweets like anything. Well, you may not believe, you may not accept, but if you keep on that path of eating sweets, within few years you will see the result. Oh, I should have listened to the people that time. I should have listened to the doctor that time. Now what is the point in repentance? So result is always, consequence will always be there. And that's why this chapter, the Lord Yamraj is thinking loudly in front of Nachiket, all these points. So those who live at the sensory level, they are called asuras. There are 7 lokas. Just like you can go higher and higher, you can go deeper and deeper into ignorance. You can Remember, Vidya, Avidya was the topic now in the 5th verse. So in Avidya, compared to human ignorance, there are 7 more deeper ignorances. And compared to human knowledge, there are 7 higher knowledges up there. This is at the relative level we are talking about. Absolute doesn't fall into the purview of any of these. Absolute is untouched, and that we are essentially. But this Moodaha, these stupid fools, these ignorant fools, they are not even ready to they are not even open to the higher possibility, even after they hear it. What can be done? So this was told. So they just keep thinking that the world is and there is nothing else apart from this world. And such people, Yamaraj says, they keep taking birth and again, life and death, and that is what he says, that they come into my clutches, they come, they get into my power, means he gets to rule over them. He gets to, they come into his jurisdiction. See? But those who are Jivan Muktas, those who are in the higher worlds, there is no disease and old age in higher heavens. If you go to the ultimate heaven, which is Satyalok, the Creator's abode, there is no death there in the sense of human beings. There is no hunger and thirst. See, there is no disease and old age. So, in that sense, it is called as heaven. See, but the one who is liberated, that fellow is not under the jurisdiction of Lord Yama. Only the ignorant, who are ignorant, who have incomplete knowledge about themselves. They may be knowing the scriptures, afterwards it will come, as much as they may know. If they are still thinking about the self and not being the self, they are in the juris, they get caught by the Yamaraj. Means for them, death will happen. As much as they may understand that I am immortal and have good conviction, but death will happen. Rebirth will happen. Only that person who has gone beyond, who is abiding in the consciousness as the consciousness, only such a person is free from the clutches of Lord Yamaraj. Having said that, where are we? Now we are come into the 7th verse. You know, you must have noticed this, that when people are ignorant, and many people, if they come to such satsang like this, or Bhagavad Gita, or Amrit Anubhav, to bhul hi jao, straight away they will go to sleep because they cannot digest it. And then you know what, you must have heard, or maybe we have also been one of those once upon a time. We are simple people. We are not very educated. We do not know anything. In other words, we want to continue living in ignorance. We don't want to expand. We don't want to grow. We don't want to choose the path of Shreyas. Why? We are simple people. We don't have many desires. But this is what our parents taught us. That is what we are following. This is what my grandparents, it is coming in our lineage, and that's what we are following. We are simple people. This has been happening in our family, and we will continue doing this in our family. Some person was there, they started learning Vedic chanting, and someone from their family told them, "Oh, girls should not chant Vedic chanting. If you are eating meat, you should not do Vedic chanting. If you do this, you should not do Vedic chanting." And one day that person came and they said, "Swamiji, I think I am going to stop because I have been told in this manner." I said, "You are free to choose. What can I say about it?" So, until unless I don't stop eating meat, I cannot do Vedic chanting or chant the name of the Lord. So, is eating meat or stopping drinking or stopping smoking or stopping telling lies, is that the means to chant the mantra? And you will never be able to overcome all those vices which have caught you. The rule is, you start chanting the name of the Lord, automatically whatever you want to drop, it will start dropping you. That is the rule. But no, this is the sign of the ignorant people. They are so egoistically stuck in what they see, they believe. They are not open to higher possibilities. And the fact that, where are we? The fact that you are there, sitting here, listening, it's not a small feat. And that is what is being brought out in the next verse, in the 7th verse. He says, Shravanayapi bahubhiryo na labhyaha. Shravanayapi bahubhiryo na labhyaha. Shunvantopi bahavoyam na vidyuhu. Shunvantopi bahavoyam na vidyuhu. Ascharyo vakta kushalosya labdha. Ascharyo vakta kushalosya labdha. Ascharyo jnata kushalanushishtaha. Ascharyo jnata kushalanushishtaha. Together. Shravanayapi bahubhiryo na labhyaha. Shunvantopi bahavoyam na vidyuhu. Ascharyo vakta kushalosya labdha. Ascharyo jnata kushalanushishtaha. Yamaraj is again thinking out aloud. And don't forget what I just said. The fact that you are sitting here and listening to an Upanishad. Now, what is your mental frame of mind? That is your responsibility. My responsibility as a teacher is to teach to the best of my ability with awareness, without confusion, with clarity, making it palatable. So here when he says, Shravanayapi bahubhiryo na labhyaha, that way, how should I say? That which is not easily available to many, even to be heard. that which is not available to be heard for many people. Then second one, Shunvantopi bahavo yam na vidyuhu. And that which is, if many people have heard, imagine in every city, if few satsangs are going on, say 10,000 people are listening, out of what population of Victoria is 4 million. How many are listening to Upanishad at this time? Hardly few. And those out of that hardly few, you are here. How many other Upanishad classes must be going on? Now take all the cities in the world. But out of all these thousands, out of all these many people who have had the opportunity to hear about it, how many of it understand it? So that is the second part. Shunvantopi bahavo yam na vidyuhu. How many of them understand the Atma Tattva? Many people are not even available to Atma Tattva, because the word Atma Tattva, many places I go, they don't even understand the difference between Atma, Jivatma, Paramatma. They don't understand. हम तो जीव हैं. I am the soul. And when you tell them soul also doesn't die and give them the analysis, वो तो ठीक है, but what they say that people are born again. अरे यार जाओ कहीं. Nisarga Maharaj's language. Go to some other shop. The answer to what you are asking is not available in this shop. If you don't understand after 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 days, he used to throw them out of the room. He says, empty the space so that someone else who is more capable can listen. Because in 10 days, if you are not understood, go to some other place. Because where is their mind? Their mind is not ready to accept. So here when he says, that which is not easily available to even to hear for many people, and out of those many people, very few understand, and then Ashcharya Vakta Kushalosya Labdha, and that Atma Tattva which is being, it is indeed wondrous that someone is speaking about that which cannot be spoken of. Which is Atma Tattva, that which is the conscious self. So indeed it is wondrous and wonderful. Ascharvat pashyati yena. तो यहाँ पे वदति here. So indeed it is wondrous that a teacher is explaining that which cannot be known by the mind, which cannot be put in words by the mouth, by the thoughts, which cannot be conceptualized, and that the teacher is speaking. And not only that, Ascharyo Jnata Kushalanusishtaha, and indeed it is wonderful and wondrous indeed that a capable student is able to understand that which cannot be understood by the mind. See, this verse resonates the verse in Bhagavad Gita which says in the 7th chapter, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yadati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvataha. There was told among thousands of people, one maybe struggles for perfection, and among the thousands who struggle for or work towards perfection, maybe one becomes perfect, and even amongst those that are perfect meaning they know the self, knowing the self and having the Brahmatmaikya Bodh is different. Brahmatmaikya, knowing the self can be had in Samadhi, but Brahmatmaikya Bodh is the goal of Vedanta. And there the Krishna Bhagavan said that among those who are perfect in their sadhana, in their meditation, in their samadhi, etc., a rare one comes to know me, because Krishna here is not, when he is speaking like this, he is not speaking as Arjuna's friend, he is speaking as Parabrahma Paramatma. Just as when you nod, when I tell you that, do you know yesterday you had the experience of waking, dreaming and sleeping, you nod. Who is nodding? Not the waker, not the dreamer, not the sleeper. At that moment, none of these three roles are expressing. At that time, that Atma, you are one with the Atma. But the avenue of expression may be the physical body. So when we see, when I sit here and see you nodding, I see only your form. See? And then we get confused. Because we can't stay there. We very quickly we slip away from that again. So similar, what this verse number 7 in the second Valli is talking, similar thought is resonated in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 7 verse 3. And here now the Bhashya begins. The Bhashya says, Bhashya says, Shravanayapi Shravanartham Shrotum api yo na labhyah atma. Bahubhihi anekaihi. So, that Atma which is not available to many people even to hear about, because, and why it is not available? See, Atma is the constant. Atma is the constant principle. It is not many, there is only one Atma. It's not that you have one Atma, he has one Atma, there is only one. But why is it not available to many? Because the mind is impure. What does it mean that mind is impure? Mind is pursuing the pleasures. The mind is pursuing the pleasure by associating, attaching, desiring the objects of the world. That is the corruption. And for the person who is so besotted by the worldly objects, thinking that will complete him, for such a person there is a famine, as if there is a famine of Atmic instructions to him. See. शृण्वन्तोऽपि बहवो अनेकेऽन्ये यम् आत्मानं न विद्युः न विदन्त्य भागिनो असंस्कृतात्मानो न विजानीयुः. So such people, they are not able to and there are other people. Okay, one is the people don't get to hear it. Second is that they are those who are with impure mind, to them, even if the word Atma is spoken to them, it doesn't create a space for itself in their mind, because the mind is already cluttered with many other things. Example, you are listening to the satsang right now and you are busy moisturizing yourself with tea or coffee. Or why waste time while I am listening to satsang? Let me do acupressure on my fingers while I am listening to satsang. अपने आप को यहाँ यहाँ दबाते रहो. And what are you listening about? You are listening about Brahma Vidya. And where is your attention? I don't want to waste time. I want to take care of the pain in the joints. How will you go beyond body identification? We have to be 100% available. No, I am multitasking. I don't have enough time. I have to do this and I have to do that. लगे रहो फिर पूरी जिंदगी भर. See? And many people, because of their impure mind, even after listening, they are unable to know, they are unable to reflect over it, they are unable to contemplate on it, they are unable to know it as I. It doesn't click to them. It was good information. चलो आगे बढ़ो. These points are not being told to judge you. These points are being told so that we reflect where we are caught up. Are we one of those? Lord Yamraj, Lord of Death, he is speaking loudly, contemplating in himself, thinking loudly in front of Nachiket. Nachiket has already passed all the barriers, all the challenges he has already crossed. Why he has crossed? What are the qualities that he has? This is the reflection of, or this is the loud thinking of Lord Yamraj in front of Nachiket. For our benefit. Not Nachiket. Nachiket already has passed the exam. So if he has passed the exam, this narration of Lord Yamraj cannot be for him. It is for us. Then he says, Kim cha asya vaktapi ascharyo adbhut avade vane keshu kaschid eva bhavati. Not only this, it is indeed wonderful or wondrous that the speaker is also a wondrous. The wondrous thing is that the speaker is wondrous. The wonderful thing is that the speaker is wonderful. Why? I told you before. He is speaking about Atman, which cannot be spoken of, which cannot be caught by the words, which cannot be caught by the mind. And he is speaking, Yato vacho nivartante. But he is speaking day in and day out, again and again. Tattvamasi, I am Atma Brahma. In Amrut Anubhav, words devalued. And how did we devalue the words? For last 6-7 classes, only by using words. Isn't it wonderful? An unprepared person, when he listens to words devalued and he focuses, words devalued, but I am always listening to words, he'll get frustrated. That person will get frustrated. That if words have to be devalued, then why I have to listen? So that we completely 110% devalue the word, and we understand to what extent we have to the words express within us. So it is indeed a wonder that the one who speaks on Atman must be also wondrous, must be also wonderful. And the one who speaks on this Atman which cannot be spoken of must be one among thousands and millions, because every person cannot speak. You understand? See, in the end, the final, the absolute standpoint, everything is the absolute alone, isn't it? Whether there is knowledge or ignorance, both are pervaded by the absolute, isn't it? Whether it is wave or ocean, presence of wave or absence of wave, it is water only. So whether knowledge or ignorance, it is pervaded by the absolute alone. Then who can do justice to that which cannot be caught by the words? Who can do justice? Only that person who is closer to it. The person who is on the ground level, he is seeing only differences. The person who has gone higher from the ground level, he sees unity. He doesn't see the differences because differences are not available to that person who has a higher, who is up above the ground, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. So when our attention, so who is that teacher who is able to succinctly, clearly communicate that which cannot be within the purview of the words? The one who is either abiding in that Atman, or the next lower one who is closest to that, next even little bit closer. So best one will be Shrotriya Brahmanist. The lower will be Acharya. Lower than that Acharya, Pandit, Shastri. You understand? Like you have professor, associate professor, tutor, I don't know what else is there. So, who is professor? Who is expert in that field? Who is associate professor? He is not as adept about that subject as the professor is. Who is a tutor? Tutor is he who has just finished his studies, PhD or whatever, and he is getting the hang of it. He has done some research, but the vast knowledge that the professor has or the associate professor has, he hasn't got yet. But all three are teaching. But what will be the quality of teaching? Similarly, there is a teacher and there is a teacher. A person can be well versed in the Sanskrit and scriptures, they can be teaching. There can be a brahmachari who is teaching, there can be a sannyasi who is teaching, there can be a yogi who is teaching, there can be a kriya yogi, kundalini yogi who is teaching these scriptures. Some people are teaching scriptures to propagate Sanatana Dharma. Propagation is their goal. Prachar. But who will be able to do all this perfectly? The one who is perfect can do it perfectly, because it will be natural. He doesn't have to work it out. He doesn't have to. He has no doubts as to how it is, what it is, who it is, where it is, what it is. No questions, isn't it? But if it is borrowed knowledge from somewhere, only by hearted and then communicated, then you need notes. Notes is not a problem, because our mind can sometimes take us here and there. It can distract us. So when the text is in front of us like this, Kathopanishad, without deviating from the main topic, we keep coming back to the verse and the bhashya which is at hand right now. So we remain focused. When there is no text in front of us, it becomes a haphazard presentation. For a beginner it will become. I am still a beginner. See? So to keep the mind disciplined, we take the support. Shankaracharya also takes, but he knows. Chinmayananda also used to take. But what is the quality of the various other sannyasis, and what is the quality of the speech delivery or the satsang as given by those masters who are abiding in that truth and those who are walking that path towards the truth? There is a marked difference, isn't it? So indeed, it is a wonder that there is a person that the speaker is also wondrous, because he is one among the many people on this in this creation who is even able to speak about it, talk about it. Now the whole verse is about the unique opportunity that the speaker as well as the listener have been presented with by speaking about the Atman or the Upanishad, about the Brahma Vidya, and for the student to listen to the Brahma Vidya. Don't take it lightly. Don't take it lightly. And don't take that it must be, we must have done lot of merits in our past life, that's why Upanishads came into our life, that's why Mahatmas have come into life. No. Prarabdha only gives you joys and sorrows. Scriptures, understanding is not because of prarabdha. It is because of grace. It is not because of grah. Prarabdha is, what is the root of prarabdha? Or the root of, root of prarabdha, root of karma, root of subconscious impressions, root of vasanas is karma, isn't it? Karma means doership. Doership means expression of ego. Ego cannot understand this. Ego cannot understand. This understanding is taking place. You are being exposed to this knowledge so that ego melts away if you are subjective enough. It is not that I have to understand, then ego has come up. But okay, even from ego point of view, at least from tamasic to sattvic we have come, then we learn how to go beyond Sattvic, at least come to Sattvic. That is understanding. So now here he says, he doesn't stop there. Tatha Shrutvapyasya Atmanah Kushalo Nipuna Evana Ekeshu Labdha Kaschideva Bhavati. Also, after hearing about Atma and then accepting Atma as the self, such a person also must be a unique person among many people. See, so he's not only talking about the speaker, maybe a unique speaker among many, that is indeed wondrous, but even the one who understands and is able to be subjective, such a person is also a unique person. Because many people listen from this ear, take it out from that ear. Like people have a dose of liquid spirituality, we have what you call satsang spirituality dose every Wednesday. What did you? I am listening to Upanishad. What is that? Oh, we are listening to the words of death. Oh my God, don't you get afraid of death? And the topic begins and you start over liquid spirituality you are talking. It's not like that. Indeed, the person who understands and becomes subjective with regards to what is being communicated to him is indeed one among many. Manushyanam sahasreshu. For that, for to be subjective, to understand, to apply on himself. See, all the Vivek, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti, Mumukshutvam, all that preparation must have knowingly, unknowingly, inadvertently, by default, must be going on. During the satsang, at other times, we don't have to know it, but it must be going on. That preparation is paramount. The fact, if we are involuntarily Vivek, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti, Mumukshutvam, this is the default setting, then we don't have to practice, we don't have to remember. Whatever we are doing, our attention is there only. See, what is changing and what is changeless. What is finite and what is infinite. Just wishing to become able is not enough. There is two things, readiness and ability. Merely readiness is not enough. You have to put the hard yaka behind it. You are ready. That's why you came here. Now what is the hard work? Hard work is remaining awake, not going to sleep, not imagining, not going into a reverie, not getting bored. We get bored when we are in the mind. Mind says, oh, it's the same thing he's repeating. But when we are subjective, every word is brand new. Because every word is like a spark taking the mind back to its source. Without that spark, you think we would be able to speak on the same subject again and again for last 25 years? Long ago, we would have got bored with the whole topic and okay, yaar, bahut ho gaya, let's try something else. But the fire, the interest, the contemplation is ever alive in every satsang. Why? Because truth can be known only here and now. And it is the word of the teacher that transports us if we are available. Availability is Vivek Vairagya Shatka Sampatti Mokshato. Don't live at default level where you keep going back to the world again and again and again. That's the path of prayers. Seek the higher so that the differences melt. Just like ice is nothing but infinite waters. Similarly, objects after which we are running is nothing but crystallized energy. That's all. That too, appearing upside down in your eyes. So choose wisely which energy. Choose wisely. Follow the rules. Fire is also energy. Electricity is also energy. If you interact with it wrongly, what will happen? You will get a shock or you will get burnt, isn't it? Every person is a conglomeration of energy. Every thought is a package of energy, thought or word. Choose wisely what words we choose, what people we interact with whom we sit and spend our time, how we spend our time, what thoughts do we entertain, what emotions do we entertain. Be alert. Not just live at a default, Ayaram, Gayaram, Lagero. And then I don't know what will happen to me. Why I am not getting out of this problem, this mental problem. I was never like this. Why am I like this? Because you are thinking of that bloody thing again and again and again. But mother is worried. Why one? Every mother is worried if the daughter is not getting married. Then wherever they go, any marriage, any gathering, any social gathering, any party, their antennas are up. They are so sharp at that time because the love for the daughter, and that love of the daughter expresses as, let her get her fixed with someone, then I am free. That is the love. And they call that duty. Isn't it our duty? But how your mind is unknowingly, you don't realize it, but continuously, wherever it looks for a suitable boy for your daughter or suitable girl for your son. Just like that. Or a hungry person, wherever he looks, he is looking for food. Similarly, are we the one mumukshutvam? Are we continuously in and through every activity, wherever life has placed us, are we seeking the truth? Are we seeking the self? Are we coming closer to the self? Then coming closer means, if I have come up, if I have crossed the boundary of the body, crossing the boundary of the body means what? Gross body. What does it mean? Heat or cold doesn't trouble me. Whether the heater is on or the cooler is on. Slowly, I stop reacting to it. I stop demanding it. As I move further, Pranmaya Kosh. What is Pranmaya Kosh? What is the vision from down there? Now I do not worry about my hunger and thirst, which is the expression of Pranmaya Kosh. Now I enjoy feeding others and quenching their hunger and thirst. Think. Then comes Manomaya Kosh. At Manomaya Kosh, it's not about me and my problems and my desires. I empathize with everyone. I can understand their viewpoint. So there's no argument, there's no clashes, ever available. See? Why? As we are going higher and higher, means here deeper and deeper, meaning renouncing the body, renouncing the breath, renouncing त्यागे नहीं के अमृतत्व मानशुहु. As we are going here, don't understand going higher means you are going higher in the sky. You are going the cause of the body is the breath, breath's cause is the mind, mind's cause is the intellect, intellect cause is the chidabhas, and so on. So as we are coming closer to ourselves, if you have come closer to your husband or wife, don't you know all their habits? Don't you know all their shortcomings? Don't you know their background? Don't you know their aspirations? Right or wrong? So the closer you come to someone, it's as if you know that person almost. But take any person on the street, go next two houses down the street, whoever is living there. Do you know all that you know about your husband or wife, about that person? No. Why? Distance. Why go 2 houses far away? Do you know everything about your mother-in-law or father-in-law? Both sides? No. You know more about your husband or wife. You know more about your children. Isn't it? So as we come closer to the Atma, what we are leaving behind is becoming, it is not important. It is melting away, it's dissolving away from your mind. And what is presenting from your mind then? From your mind, what is the nature of Atman? That is expressing from your mind. And what is the nature of Atman? Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. That is the nature of Atma. One without a second. That is the nature of Atma. Ekam eva dvitiya. That is the nature of Atma. So your vision without doing anything except seeking the goal undergoes transformation. And you start seeing the world in the light of the higher. Right? These bulbs, they can illuminate only this room, maybe a bigger room also. But the sun, he is illuminating the entire earth. What will be his vision like? What will be the vision of Atman, who is the material cause and the efficient cause of the entire creation? And you are coming closer and closer subjectively to that Atman. And while on that higher trajectory, upward trajectory, whatever is lower is dissolving, whatever was gross, it's melting away, dissolving away. It becomes crystallized only when we give it importance. The moment you take attention away from the gross and shift it to the believing is seeing, you are having faith, and you don't have to have faith in knowing the self. You know you are. But what you are in essence, that is being told by the Upanishads. So you have to believe this. So you keep thinking about it. And as we keep moving towards it, the gross, subtle, causal all melt away, dissolve away, because they were never there in the first place. They were never there. It was incomplete knowledge which was presenting them as real. But because of your pursued attention, focus towards the Atman as your essential self, as you come closer to it with the understanding that the Upanishads are giving, slowly, 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 this is what is happening in Vaikhari Madhyama Pashanti Para also, from the gross to the transcendental. Here also it is with understanding. If understanding is not taking place along the way, either we have complete surrender to the Lord, that's a different story. Here we are a student of Upanishads. Here blind faith is not required. So, did you do anything in sleep to rejuvenate yourself, to become fresh next morning? Nothing. But every morning you are fresh, isn't it? What did you do? Nothing. I just slept. And what does sleep mean? Zero thoughts, zero doing, zero enjoying. Because there is no one to enjoy and no one to do anything. There is no karta bhokta in deep sleep. This knot is such. Same way, when we contemplate on the Atmic Tattva, the Atmic consciousness, the spirit, closer we come to its nature, to that extent the lower keeps dropping away. So as you go higher on the earth, even though there are all these forms, houses, people, cars, trucks, everything melts into one soup called earth. You can't see the differences from the high above. Exactly the same thing. When we are not attentive about the gross or the subtle or the causal, but we are contemplating on the transcendental as our essence, where are the differences? Gross, subtle, causal, isn't it? They all, for others they may be expressing, but for you, it's a personal journey, it's an individual's journey to his essential self. But other people will let them. Who cares? तुम मौज में रहो और क्या? Your vision will transform. यस्माद् आश्चर्यो ज्ञाता कश्चिदेव कुशलानुशिष्टः कुशलेन निपुणेन आचार्येणानुशिष्टः सन्. Because here it says that that student, that one who after hearing is able to gain that which was spoken of, which cannot be spoken of, which is Atma Tattva, but he gains it. Certainly he is a unique person, he is a wondrous event has happened. And here then he says, Yasmad Ascharyo Jnata, because in the transfer of Atmic knowledge, in the vision of Atma, the Acharya, the teacher, the Guru Maharaj who is teaching has to be adept. That adeptness is not merely good vocabulary. Ramana Maharshi hardly used any vocabulary but he was the most adept, isn't it? So don't get fixated in one idea, oh, only adept is like this way or that way. No. Adept is established in the self, that is the perfection itself. Then all the various lower levels that we talked about. So when a adept student is instructed by an adept teacher, you have an adept teacher but a Buddhu student, energy going waste. You have adept student but kacha teacher. Problem again. He will not be able to feed the curiosity and inquisitiveness and clarity that the student wants. See, this is what Swami Chinmayananji, when he was at Shivananda, in Shivananda ashram, he got sannyas from Shivananda. He studied there, worked there for I don't know how long, I can't remember now. But he used to and he used to give lectures also. In whatever his contemplation was, he used to show it to Swami Shivananda, then he will say, okay, go, and he will present. But his hunger to know was so humongous. And Shivananda ashram is a karma yogi ashram. You have to work, you have to clean, you have to do gardening, you have to help, you have to do work in the hospital, you have to work in the bookshop, you have to work so many. It's a huge place by the Ganges in Gangaji in Rishikesh. But Chinmayananji wanted to know, and in the end Swami Shivananda said, for you this is not the place, go to Tapon Maharaj. Then there 7 years at his feet, continuously studying, contemplating, reflecting, meditating. 7 years. The only time you have to go out of that place or leave Swamiji is, or that where he used to stay, was for Bhiksha. No extracurricular activities. But isn't it right that we need an ashram where so many activities are there, so much variety of activities are there? That is required for a beginner student. Who is talking about variety? You are a beginner. If you are happy with reflection and contemplation, तो चुपचाप एक जगह शांति में जाके बैठ जाओ. Go and sit down quietly in one place, undisturbed. Make your room into an ashram. Don't search for an ashram. Make your body into a temple. Don't run after temples. People run to Tiruvannamalai to see the Jyoti, Every year they have the Jyoti. They light the fire on the top of the mountain. How gross it is. They are not ready to light the fire inside them. But they will travel hundreds of kilometers, fly from Australia to Tiruvannamalai on that particular day, to be there on that particular day, to see the mountain on fire. All that is wonderful. There is wonderful energy around Arunachala. Yes, all accepted, no doubt. So if you can never in your lifetime go and live in Arunachala permanently, which means realization is impossible for you. That is a stupid conclusion, isn't it? So we have to find a different approach. For that we have to be open. For that we don't have to be attached. Oh, there are so many herbs. What are you going to do with so many herbs on the mountain? Are you living there? No. You grow herbs in your room. अभी क्या कर सकते हैं? You have to find a different a way which supports you, helps you to dive deep into yourself. Otherwise, India is spiritual, Australia is not spiritual. है वे? हो गया. Division began. Spirituality is only possible in Tiruvannamalai. In Melbourne, it is not possible. Why? Oh, it's too materialistic life. Oh, it's too much work. So many things have to be done. You go there also so many things have to be done. As if you go and meditate there. You only create networking. That's all, and come back. And then come back. I went to this cave, I went to that cave, I sat there for meditation. How much? 2 minutes. For that we spend so much money and go there. See, what I am trying to say is, don't forget the point. Point is, as we come closer to our essential nature, the spirit, the conscious principle, the vision from the conscious principle is non-duality. Till you don't, when you have not reached the conscious principle but you are going closer and closer, what is happening? The most grossest is merging into each other, then subtle is merging into each other, then causal is already merged. Or in other words, gross is merging into subtle, subtle is merging into causal. And causal we have to bypass. If you remain at causal, you will go into deep sleep. So because you are attentive of the self, Atmic principle. So here the teacher, the Lord of Death, he is saying that indeed the teacher must be kushala, adept. And the student must be also adept in order for it to click. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So before the previous commentary by Shankaracharya was just the line before, when he said it must be a unique student who has understood the words of the teacher and come to subjectively, directly experience that Atman which the teacher was speaking about. And what is Atman which cannot be spoken about? So it must be a unique student. To qualify that, now in the last statement he says, indeed it must be a unique teacher teaching to a unique student, an adept teacher, meaning established teacher, speaking to a purified student. Only then the music begins. Only then the eureka happens. And is that not true between the disciple Nachiket and the teacher Yamaraj? Adept teacher tested him, but adept student also. didn't get tempted by anything. Adept teacher, Tapovan Maharaj. Adept student, Chinmayanand Maharaj. It's a path of, you have to walk on fire. Teacher will test if you are available. And the teacher tests when you are least, expecting it. Our teacher was like that. Many biographies I read, I see the teacher, Shankar Maharaj, Akkalkot Maharaj, and Gondavale Maharaj, Neem Karoli Baba, our Heda Khan Baba, whom I met. So many masters. Kadapa Swami, what is his name? Dargah Swami. If we become available, Nachiket was available. Being available does not mean you will not be tested. Lord tested him. And he passed with flying colors. Only the person who is fit is going to win the race. Only that car which is perfectly synced, properly serviced, all the parts are moving in perfect unison, it will win the race. Are we a fit student? That is the adeptness. Are we the fit student? Vivek, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti, Mukshutvam, Vivek Chudamani. Fit student means focus on the higher, giving up the lower. Tyage nahi ke, giving up alone brings you to the immortal self. हो गया भाई टाइम. With that note, we conclude. Perfect timing. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.